Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Thursday, October 29th, 2020. We're again in the final hour of the trading day. My favorite time of the day is in the last hour, especially particularly in the last few minutes of the day. That's when I like to make the majority of my buying and selling decisions, because during the day you have the algorithms, you have the day traders. They are the ones that are in control of the price. At the end of the day, the large financial institutions step in. They step in with size, dealing with a lot of money, very smart people, best technology, best information, best research, and they take control of the price away from the day traders and the algorithms. And I consider following their lead to be a good idea. And I believe in the long run, there is an edge in doing that. So thank you all for coming today. I really do appreciate it. It's always nice to see everyone in the chat. I'm very grateful for this group. I'm grateful that we have so many great people in here that great contributions. So I say it every day, but I sincerely mean it. Thank you for coming by, and I hope this channel is helping you with your trading and your investing. Okay, so boy, big day up today after yesterday's big down day. Dow Jones is currently up 282 points, up 1.06%. The NASDAQ is up 249.41%. It's up 2.26, and the S&P is up 58.92%. I'm sorry, 58.76, up 1.8%. So big day. I'm not surprised, honestly, after the big down day we had. You know, you have a big fall down, you can have a big bounce up, right? So percentage wise, how much we went down yesterday and how much we've come back up today is, you know, it's somewhat expected. It certainly could have gone down as well. So I don't know if we're out of the woods yet. We have Apple earnings, Amazon, I think Alphabet tonight as well. So that's going to have a big effect on the market, certainly going forward. So let's keep that in mind, okay? And a lot of times when you have a big down, we've had two big down days in the last week, and then you get a rally back up. But, you know, it doesn't always mean that's the bottom. It could just be a rally in a downtrend, right? So, all right, well, here's the plan for today. First of all, we're going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. Secondly, we're going to come back, take a look at my current positions, talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, how I'm going to manage them going forward. I did have several day trades today. I'll go over those with you as well. Three good ones, one bad one, but that's good. I'll take that all day long. After that, we're going to go and look at your current positions that are up on the board. Looks pretty green over there, a couple red ones, but the majority of them green, so that's a good sign. After that, we're going to talk about trader psychology, just get away from charts for a minute, talk about the most important skill in trading, which is developing the psychological aspect of your trading, essentially following your plan, not letting fear and greed get involved with your plan. It's the number one skill that you could ever develop in trading, is the psychological aspect of it. So I like to touch on that. After that, we are going to go down. I've gone down through my watch list. I've also gone down through the results of Kamal Scanner. There's certainly some potential new entries today at the end of the day. Three requirements before I look to enter any trade. First requirement, confluence, combination of indicators lining up on multiple time frames, such as MACD, RSI, ATR channels, moving averages, double bottoms, bullish divergences, all that kind of stuff. And I think you'll put yourself in the best position to have a profitable trade if you have a confluence or combination of indicators, and on multiple time frames, if possible. Number two, you can have great confluence, combination of indicators, but if you don't have a good risk to reward ratio, you should just let that trade go, honestly. So 2 to 1 is my minimum. If I'm risking $100, I want to be able to make 200 or more to the upside. It's very important. That way you can have more losing trades than winning trades and still be a profitable trader. And then number 3, yesterday was a good reminder. Always take a few minutes, take a look at how many positions you have, how correlated your positions are, how much account heat you have, which means what percentage of your total capital is in play at any one time. These are important things. They really, really are. So I'm going to go down through the watch list. I'm going to use those 3 criteria, go through the potential candidates at the end of the day. And if I find something good at the end of the day that meets all those requirements, I'll go ahead and buy it. All right, that's the plan. And then after the market closes, if anybody has any questions for me, needs clarification on anything, please let me know. I'm happy to answer that. If you have any stock symbols that you'd like me to take a look at during the day, before the market closes, I'm happy to do that as well. Just make sure you put a asterisk or an emoji by the symbol so I know it's time sensitive, and I'll do my best to get to it. And then lastly, if you have any new additions or subtractions to the board today, if you could please wait until after the market closes to tell me what those are. That way the market's closed, I'm done trading, pressure's off, done teaching, and then we'll spend as much time as we need to get those updated. Okay? All right, well, that's the plan. So listen, hang tight. I'm going to run that U.S. legal disclaimer, and I'll be back in about 40 seconds. Thanks.
This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and/or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much.
All right. Let's take a look and see who's here. Kamal is here. Hey, buddy. Good to see you. Always enjoy chatting with you during the day on Skype and looking at some trades with you or placing trades with you. Always appreciate that. Thank you, Kamal, also for the daily results of your scanner. That's very kind of you. Dan is here. Hey, Dan. Hello, and hello, Greg and everyone. Hey, Dan. Good to see you, bud. Talal is here. Hello, sir. How are you doing? Hope you're having a good evening in Kuwait. Talal says, hello, Greg, and to all the group. Hello. Frank is here. Hello, sir. Good to see you as well, Frank. Always great to see Frank. Quad Racer. Good afternoon, Greg and group. Hey, Quad. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Good chatting with you earlier. Steve Burns. Hey, what's up, my friend? Good to see you, Steve. Hope you and Holly and the dogs are all doing well. Thank you, as always, for visiting and dropping in and saying hello in the group. It's always a great honor to have Steve here, so thank you. Steve says, hello, everyone. Big tech earnings today. Apple, Amazon, and Google should be some big moves. I would imagine. That's what I was just mentioning earlier. So I'm not obviously I don't know what the earnings are. And even Microsoft had good earnings, but they went down. And, when stocks have bad earnings and they go up, that's generally big picture bullish. If stocks have good earnings and they go down, that could indicate that we're near a top in a cycle. I'm not saying what that's going to happen, but that has been the format lately with some of these big companies having good earnings and it going down. So honestly, that concerns me. Ava is here. Hello, ma'am. Nice to see you. Hope you're having a good day. Thank you as always for coming. Greetings, Greg and everyone. Hello, Ava. Steve says, I am glad someone bought my put options from me yesterday. Yes, you timed it perfectly, Steve. Absolutely perfectly. You and Gary. Very, very nice. Very nice. You would have given a bunch back on that today. That was a fantastic trade. Miko is here. Hey, buddy. Good to see you, sir. Appreciate you being here. Steve says, huge VIX chart reversal today. Yep. I've got a little bit of VIX left. I have a quarter of my position, and I'll have to decide whether or not I'm going to let that go at the end. I'll have to see. David is here. Hey, Dave. Looking forward to speaking with you tonight at 7. Really am. Dan says, Steve, I tried to buy your latest book today, but Amazon was not cooperative. I think I need to use my computer instead of my phone. I didn't have a problem in the past. I bought that book on my computer. I'm sorry, on my phone. I didn't have any issues. Frank has a poem. There's plenty of coaches that shout, reach for the moon, but does that mean leaving the safety of your cocoon? Improve we must do, be one of the few, just how far you go is up to you. Ah, brilliant. Perfect. Let me copy that over there like so, and we'll read it again. There's plenty of coaches that shout, reach for the moon. That's true. But does that mean leaving the safety of your cocoon? Yes, I think it does. Improve we must do, be one of the few, just how far you go is up to you. Ah, thank you, Frank. As always, that's excellent. Thank you. Jatin is here. Hello, good afternoon, sir. Good to see you. It's nice to see you, Jatin. Thank you very much. Quad says, Greg, how do you feel about a short on the VIX? I wouldn't short it. The VIX is a wild monster of a bear. My friend Dave Lincoln over on the Short Vol show, who's on here sometimes, he's really the expert in the VIX. I will buy the VIX, but as far as shorting the VIX, I just don't do it. I'm just not an expert in enough to really get in there. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't short the VIX here with the earnings coming out. Yes, it's down today, but look at the move, Quad. From here up to here, a 50% retracement right to about here. That's where it could take off again. I don't think I'd be giving you good advice if I said to short the VIX. Steve says, thanks for trying, Dan. Yeah, give it another shot. It's a great book. Talal says, nice poem, Frank. I agree. Gray says, hello, Greg and group. Hello, Gary. Nice going on your Exxon today. That's looking good. That's giving us some hope, right? For the Exxon calls. All right, well, let's take a look at the current trades. Oh, I'll tell you, I went over to a friend's house last night for dinner, and she says, what are you checking on your phone all the time? And I said, I'm checking the futures. And the SPY futures and everything were up big, and I was like, oh, thank goodness. Overnight SPY trade's going to come through. I got home. I was tired. I went to bed. I looked at the futures. I was like, fantastic. This is going to be a good opening in the morning. I got up in the morning. It was a little positive. But anyway, real quick, before we take a look at that, let me explain if we have some new viewers. I do buy the SPY every day at the close. I hold it overnight. I take the overnight risk. I sell it first thing the next morning. I do this based upon a long-term back-tested study provided by Liz Ann Saunders. She's at Bespoke Invest. Since 1993, two approaches they back-tested. Approach number one, buy the SPY at the open, hold it all day, sell it at the close. If you use this approach every day since 1993, you've returned a negative 13.9% return. The opposite approach, this is the one that I use, buy the SPY at the close, hold it overnight, sell it very first thing the next morning. This gained a positive 634.2% return. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. It's worked well in the past. It doesn't mean it's going to work well in the future. But as I always say, if I'm going to allocate money towards a trade, it's going to be a trade that has some good back-tested numbers behind it. Blue line, buy the close, sell the next morning. Orange line, buy the morning, sell the same day close. Over time, the blue line, all it has done is gone up. This is not a high winning percentage trade, and it's very streaky. It can go up for many years and then down for many years, up for many years, down for many years. So if you're considering using this trade, I would use, I think a good conservative starting point would be 5% of your capital. So if you had $100,000, take 5%, which is $5,000, buy it at the close, hopefully sell it for a little bit more the next morning, or you might lose a little the next morning. But also I would suggest if you're going to use this, be consistent. Don't pick and choose which days you're going to do it. So that being said, I had visions of buying it here. I bought it here yesterday at 226.66. I had visions of a nice gap up here, and not to be. So I bought it at 326.99 and sold it. No. I bought it at 226.66 and sold it for 326.69. So, 33 cents, but better than nothing, right? Definitely better than nothing. You have to take the long view on this trade. Got hammered the other day. I bought here and then boom. 2 days here and here, had a big loss, here and here, had a big loss. I was getting so close to being even for the year. I was like excited to tell everybody. But just as I got super close to being break even after a horrible start to the year, ran into these two gaps. But again, this is definitely a one of the next 1,000 trade kind of situation. I will buy this again today at the close. VIX. Okay, so this has been a really good trade. I did buy the VIX back here when it was about $22.44. I did not buy the VIX ETF. I actually bought calls. Moved up here on this day big and strong. I sold half of my call position there. Yesterday, I sold intraday right as it was kind of reaching this climax part. I sold the other half when it was about 27.53. So I bought at 22.44, got out of half at 23.97, got out of another half at 27.53. This was a huge move, really huge move. This isn't the percentage of my options, but this was almost a 23.57% entry to top there. I was very close to, well, I actually had made, how do I say this? I didn't quite make 100%, but if I would have kept the whole thing, I would have made 100%. I do have a quarter of the position left here now because I sold half here. I sold half of a half here. I have a quarter position. If we close under yesterday's low, I'll go ahead and just sell the other remaining part of the VIX and just call it good. And be happy that that trade helped mitigate some losses yesterday. If it holds above, I'm going to hold it. It's just a quarter percentage. You know, my basis is way down here. And with earnings coming out today, maybe I'll be glad that I held it. But that's my plan. If it closes under yesterday's low, I will just go ahead, get rid of that last quarter percent. If it doesn't, I'll hold it. Apple had a good couple trades on Apple, both to the long and the short side. First trade I took here, we rallied up to the 200-day moving average, then we failed, we came back up, we tested it again from the bottom side. I shorted at 114.37. Had a couple nice big down bars. Whenever I have a couple down bars or one big down bar, I like to cover just a little bit on the direction that it's going my way. So I shorted at 114.37. I covered half at 113.95. I covered the other half here at 113.86 when it bounced off the 50-day, came back up, so I covered half there. I still had a quarter left, but then we had this V2. We had this pullback to value, return to value, sideways motion. I switched and went long right here. I didn't put another line here because it was so close. It was right about 113.95. Had a couple nice big day up here. Rejected the 200-day move, 200 moving average. I got at 114.34 here. I didn't like it. Was a nice big thrust up bar, but I didn't like the how it closed, and so I got out at 114.71. And then here had a close below the previous day's low. So that was, I really like when I go long, short, and it all works out. So shorted here, 114.37, covered at 113.95, covered at 113.86, went long here right about 113.95, sold at 114.50, sold at 114.71, and the rest at 114.50. So anyway, those were all good. DKNG, I did take this trade and did have a loss, but a small one. That's the key. Here we make a higher low V1. MACD was positive, looked good. I didn't buy on this bar. I waited for the next bar to see if I could get a better risk to reward ratio when it got to halfway. I bought here at 37.60. Next bar didn't cooperate. I got out at 37.53. So I only lost 7 cents. So that's the key. When you're wrong, be wrong small. When you're right, like on Apple, you make $1. That's the real key. And then last trade here. This is the Diamonds, DIA. This is the 39-minute chart. I don't trade a lot on the 39-minute chart, but I bought here at 266.24 when we went under 30, closed back over 30. The next bar went down against me. It went back under the 30, but closed back above the 30. So I bought here at 266.24. It is currently 267.62. And what I'm going to do, I was going to take half off, but I didn't. I'm just going to hold this because I like the daily trade, and I'm just going to morph because, you know, I'm in the money on the trade. I'm just going to morph it into the swing trade if it closes correctly. But I do like the diamonds. We went under 30, over 30. We have a V1, and we rejected the 250-day. And because I bought it intraday, I got a little better price. So it's nicely profitable so far. So I'm just going to keep this and turn that into a swing trade. Gary says, nice market, looks the same, dip buying as usual. Yes. Frank says, thanks. Talal Quad says, thanks, Greg, good point. Gary said, I got out of my XOM last week for a small loss. Oh, you did? Okay. Well, let's take that off the board then. Frank says, I think we're all doing the same thing, Greg. Yep. Jackson says, good, respecting technicals, filling the gap on the downside yesterday, filling it on the upside today. Again, 1580 resistance. Steve says, wow, Google chart bounce today is crazy. Yeah, it's a big move up. Yeah, they're buying into earnings. Jackson says, hidden gap at 1525, 1510 yesterday, low was 1508, and yesterday's gap down fully covered today. Jackson is very good with technicals and levels. Excellent work. Steve says, KMX breaking over the 200-day moving average today. Yep, I have that as the one I'm looking at. Johnson says, TTD, the trade desk, huh? Yeah, it's not too bad, Johnson. It is a return to value. Couple days sideways motion. We had the false breakout to the downside yesterday and the return back up. We went red-green on the bars, which is good. This is a V2. It did gap quite a bit, which I don't like, but it did fill a little of the gap. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly is a little high for my blood up here at the third ATR channel. That's probably what would prevent me from taking this trade. We're right at the, we're just below the third ATR channel on the weekly. And this is usually when it's, that's it. I mean, look here, went back down, here, down, here, down. Yeah, this is a pretty decent chart setup here, although the risk is all the way back down to here. Steve says, MA chart roasted. MA chart roasted. What does that mean, Steve? You just mean this big down move here that we've had on MasterCard? Is up a little bit today, but not that much. Gary said, I closed part of my spread on Google today before earnings, realizing 80%. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that, Gary. I am really glad to hear that because of, what happened with Intel. I mean, 80% is, let's not be greedy about it, right? You got 80%. All you can make is 20 more percent. And so I'm glad to hear that. MA way down. Okay. Yes, it is. Let's see. Where would we go shopping for MA? Well, it's a 2462. I think this back tests well over the 250 and the 200 or back over the 30 RSI, or ideally if it did them all at the same time. Steve says, MA looks worse on my charts the way they are set up. I see. All right. Let us take a look at current positions then. David bought PLTR back here at 943. Now it is 1083. It's down 0.18% today, but he did take off half up here at 1095, which I'm glad to see. And I mean, just nicely up on that trade. My gosh, from entry to current price is 12.83%. So that is excellent. Intel, we were just talking about Intel. Intel, Gary did sell Intel November 20th 4540 puts. Currently it's 44.36, so it is underneath the $45 price. So I imagine Gary's a little underwater on this. It's going to need to close above $45 in order for Gary to make the premium come November 20th. If not, he will be able to keep the premium, but he will be required to buy it at $45 regardless of what the price is to the downside, and that's the risk. TQQQ, all right. Gary bought here at 139.11. Of course, we had the big down move. Gary did sell calls. You got $1,120 at 131, expiring November 6th. So if it closes above, I'm sorry, if it closes below 131, he will be able to keep the $1,120. So anyway, the calls went against him today, but he still has the stock, which is up. So I can't really calculate where you are on this trade, whether you're up or down. I would say you're down a little bit, Gary. Walmart, Brian bought Walmart here at 140.69. It is currently 140.55. So slightly down on the trade, but it is up on the day. LVGO, boy, this is a wild one, Frank, isn't it? Frank bought LVGO back here at 132.50, moved up, came down. He locked in a little bit of profit, took half off, kept the other half, which has gone nicely. Nice couple days up, but down 3.25% today, which is a bummer, but he is still up on the trade. And then lastly, the Qs. Frank did buy a half a position on the Qs at 284.60. It is 278.61, so it is definitely out of the money, below the entry price, but I'm glad to see a nice big day trade, or big trade back up. And then, oh, my Apple chart's just a hot mess, isn't it? Let's see if I can do this. Okay, so I always forget this. Frank is in Apple at 111 even. It's 116.28. So nice big day back up. Put you way back in the money. Fantastic. And Gary sold $120 calls. Is this right? Oh, yes. He sold $120 calls October 30th against the price. So if it closes below 120, if this is correct, then Gary will be able to keep the premium. But with earnings today, who knows what's going to happen, right? Gary says, I will be, Jadon says, DKNG sustaining for 3-4 days below the trend line, which it was following since mid-July, and it broke this time with volume. What would be your take on this, sir? Oh, is Yas still in this trade? I have Yas in here at $41. Sustaining 3-4 days below the trend line, which it was following since mid-July, and it broke this time with volume. What would be your take? Well, anytime you break a trend line, it's not good news, especially with volume. I mean, it's pretty weak, that's for sure. It's hanging around the 3rd ATR channel and the 30 RSI. It's weak, you know. My take on it is I wouldn't get in this thing unless I had a clear signal. Gary says, I will be exiting Apple at the close today. Already bought back the calls for a small gain. Oh, good. Don't want to hold to earnings. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Kalal says, can you check your options? Look V1 cost. Sorry to leave, and we'll check the stream later this morning. Can you check and your options look V1 cost? Costco? Yeah, this isn't too bad. We came into the value zone, we held for 1 day, then we didn't hold for 1 day. You needed 2 days above this low. So you held for 1 day, then we lost the day. Yes, it's a V1. Let's look at the weekly. It's holding the 5-week moving average. I don't know. It's okay, but with earnings, I'm just concerned. It's a V1, rejection of the -1 ATR channel, false breakout to the downside, is above 50. I mean, it's okay for a good risk to reward. You know, if I did buy this to law, if we close below halfway of today's bar, which is the washout bar, I would get out. But when I look at this, you know, my nervous system tells me if I like it or not right away. And when I looked at it, I didn't quite like it. Doesn't mean it can't go up, but the more I trade, the more I learn to listen to my nervous system, honestly, because it's, you know that old saying, trust your first gut feeling. It's similar. All right. So listen, before we start to look at trades today, before we go through my watch list, go through the end of day candidates, looking for the 3 requirements, right? Confluence combination of indicators lining up ideally on multiple time frames. Good risk to reward ratio, 2-to-1 is my minimum. And also you have to keep in mind, how many positions do I have? How much account heat do I have? How correlated my positions are? But before we do that, try to whittle it down to the best trade of the day at the end of the day. I want to switch gears, talk about trader psychology. This is from Calm Trader, Bitcoin student over on Twitter. I just recently started to follow this channel and I really like it. It's at trader underscore calm. So Calm Trader, Bitcoin student. Let's see what he has to say. Journey to profitable trading is going to be long and full of struggles. Always have your drive and motivation up while going through it. Yep. You know, the main takeaway for me, everybody, is this. Journey to profitable trading is going to be long and full of struggles. It is. Trading is not easy. Sometimes you're just, trading well and you never feel like you're going to have another losing trade again. There's other times where you're going to be trading and you all know the feeling, right? You lose and you lose and you lose and you're like, well, that's it. I don't think I'm ever going to make another penny in this market again. But it all changes. So, when things are going great, don't get all cocky and think you're never going to lose again, because you're going to. And when things are going horrible, don't get all manic depressive, because it will turn around. But it's what you do when things are going really well and what you do or don't do when things are going really poorly that's going to define you as a trader. When things are going great, it's pretty easy to trade. When things are going poorly, that is when you have all those demons, emotional demons, come up and tempt you to do things, and those things are usually not the right move. I promise you that. But the takeaway here is trading is going to be long and full of struggles. You have to transcend it. You have to understand that life or trading is hard, and just accept it. And as always, follow your plan, follow your process. But remember, there's going to be times where you never feel like you're going to lose. There's going to be times where you never feel like you're going to win. And it is a struggle. The key is to follow your plan, go through the motions. One trade is just, your next trade is just one trade out of the next 1,000 trades. Let's not try to make a fortune on one trade. Let's try to do it over thousands of trades and know that there's going to be struggles. So, try to transcend that. But again, Calm Trader, Bitcoin student over on Twitter, and it's at trader underscore calm. So I like that. That was helpful for me. I hope it was helpful for you as well. Talal says, thumbs up. Night, everyone. Good night, Talal. I know you're way ahead of us on the time, so it's probably time to go to bed, right? But thanks for coming. All right. Let me see how my little DIA SPY trade is doing. Pretty good. Pretty good. Again, I bought that with MACD was positive. We went under 30, over 30. This is on the 39 minute. I bought it at 266.24. It's at 267.65. So it is up nicely. And again, I am going to most likely just hold this and morph this into this day trade, because here is the DIA. Okay, so this is the Dow 30. So if you buy the DIA, you're buying the ETF of the Dow 30. I like what happened here. We rejected the 250-day intraday. We went below it earlier, came back up. That itself is a good sign. We had a V1. Here's day one, day two. Day two washes out day one, closing above day one's close. And we also went under 30, over 30 on the RSI. So that's a triple confluence of signals. Now, the real question here for me, if I take this trade, is what is going to be my stop? Because there's several stops I could use here. I could use a close below halfway of the washout bar. Today is the washout bar. I could also use a close below the 250-day moving average if I wanted to get some more room, or I could also get out if I have a close below the 30 RSI. And there's pluses and minuses to everyone. You might take the shorter stop and then get stopped out, and then it reverse back up. You're like, dang it. You may give yourself the longer stop, the 250, and it might go way down. You're like, I should have took the shorter stop. It's impossible, right? You just never know. My advice, though, is try to decide what looks the best to you at the time. 30 RSI would be way down here. I don't think I would go for that. The halfway of the washout bar still puts us. My gut here is going with the 250-day moving average as my stop. And then another part of it's going to be also how the bar looks tomorrow. It might take all those stops out and I'll just have to get out. But I will, I'm already in this trade. I'm already in this trade from 266.24. So at this point, I'm just going to keep my current trade. I don't have to enter it. And right here, right now, the 250-day moving average makes the most sense to me. So very likely I am going to buy that today. Give me 1 second. I have to do a little housekeeping over here. All right, that's taken care of. So DIA is one of my favorites. BRKB, shoot, I liked this one yesterday, but I didn't take it. I like it much better today, actually. Have the V1, here's day one, day two washes out day one. Day two closes above, what's going on? Closes above day one's close. Looks like we went under 30, over 30. So we have an under 30, over 30, rejection of the 200-day and a V1. We have rejected the 100-day moving average. Over on the weekly, we are in the value zone, which is a good sign. So that is definitely a potential as well. I kind of don't like that it rejected the 100-day moving average there. KMX, I do like KMX. I mean, we went up yesterday. Today we came back down, tested exactly halfway. We poked our head over the 200-day moving average. This gives an excellent risk to reward ratio. If I get a close below the 200-day, I'll just have to go ahead and get out. That's all there is to it. Over here on the weekly, we are struggling with that 50-week moving average, but I like the risk to reward here, and I like that CarMax is not very highly correlated to tech with the tech earnings coming out. So this is also a potential one for me today. UNP, Union Pacific, had a nice bounce off the 200-day plus a V1 and an under 30, over 30. This one looks pretty good as well. Merck, Looks like under 30, over 30, and a V1. I don't like that one as much. It's only up 6 cents on the day. Amgen, V1, under 30, over 30, over the 200-day, the negative third ATR channel, over on the week. Not a lot of interesting things on the weekly here. Didn't really find support. And I'm a little... Yeah, I'm just going to pass on that one because my gut is telling me to pass on that one. Who knows? REKR, well, that would have given a good risk to reward ratio, but we've come from so far down all the way back up. I just feel like a lot of that move is already there. Holy smokes, this is up 29.82%, everybody. Whoa. Let's look over on the weekly. Yeah, pretty good on the weekly. It's holding the 50. That one's too big of a mover for me. CVX, really nice bullish engulfing bar, under 30, over 30, bullish engulfing. This looks really, really good. Looks like we have earnings tomorrow. Yeah, we have earnings tomorrow. So, and I believe they're in the morning. So unfortunately, this one is not. I'm not able to take this one because I can't hold it through earnings. Now, XLE is different because this is the energy ETF. I know Kamal knows what I'm going to say. Look, this is very bullish. It's a V1, bullish engulfing bar, under 30, over 30, rejection of the negative third ATR channel. I just feel like it's chasey. And when I say chasey, I just feel like it's moved a little bit too far. If it comes back down tomorrow and I can buy it closer to the halfway of this bar, it would give me a much better risk to reward ratio. And if it just keeps moving up, it'll just keep moving up without me. So I am going to pass on this. I just feel like the risk to reward doesn't make sense at this point. Intercontinental Exchange has supported the negative 1 ATR channel in the 50 on the weekly. I like how the halfway of this bar lines up with the 200-day moving average. It says earnings here. I don't know if earnings is after the close or before the close. I would tend to let this one go because I'm not sure that if it's before or after. If it was earlier this morning, it would be better. But again, I just feel like these bars are a little big and it's a little chasey. So I'm going to take that one off also. Fair Isaac and Company. Well, this one, oh shoot. Just as I was going to say, I like it. I do like this one better because it's not chasey. And we have a V1, under 30, over 30. But it only's traded 63,513 shares. So it's just not enough. It's not enough liquidity for me. Darn it. Slab, very, very bullish. However, it's moved too far. If it could come back down here to this, like halfway here, that would give a better risk to reward ratio. But at this point, it's just too chasey. It could easily come all the way back down here quickly. UAA, it's a V2, but it's one of those bounce V2s where you go straight down and straight up, so I don't like that. All right, let's give this some room. Diamonds, I already have diamonds. I'm already in at 266.24, so my risk to reward is very good. Again, and this is a large ETF, right? This is the Dow Jones 30. It rejected the 200-day moving average. It went under 30, over 30, and it had a V1. Lots and lots of volume. Yeah, 3.429 million shares traded. I'm already in this. I will keep this and I morph my day trade into a swing trade. BRKB. I like it. I don't like that it rejected the 100-day moving average. And again, I already have the diamonds, right? So Diamond, I mean, BRKB is almost just like an index itself. So with that said, that takes me out of there. CarMax, I do like CarMax. I like the very, very good risk to reward ratio. Even if I close below the 200, I mean, it could come all the way down to here, but even if it closes a penny under, and I have some room to the upside as well. So I do like CarMax. And UNP, the risk to reward's not as good. So today at the close, I will be buying diamonds because I already have it because of the day trade right here off of the 39-minute bar that I bought here at 266.24. And I will be taking a new position in CarMax with this close above the 200-day moving average, giving me a good risk reward ratio. So that's what I'm looking to buy is CarMax, and I already have diamonds. And the SPY. Of course, I have the SPY also. I will be buying the SPY also, I should say. All right, so let me get rid of that. Steve says DDM is trying to stay above the 200-day moving average. David says, I entered NIO today when it broke above previous high at 29.30, planning to exit. Your thoughts? Yeah, anytime you get a big bar like that, David, I would take some off for sure. I mean, you've had a wonderful day. My gosh, congratulations, bud. Fantastic. But yeah, I would take some off. I mean, all of it would be fine. At minimum, half if it were me. But I would take some off. I wouldn't let 16% winner go back against you for sure. Nice trade though. Jatton says NDX is much stronger than Dow Jones as per chart. The way NDX respects its support level, now trying to sustain yesterday's high show of strength. Got New Zealand up here. NDX. Okay, I don't have that on my charts, Jatton. Sorry, when I pull it in, it pulls up New Zealand, the New Zealand currency. John says, thank you for talking me out of Fiverr yesterday. Oh, good. Yeah, well, I mean, this did almost exactly kind of what I was thinking. I mean, and there's a lot of other charts that are like this as well. We moved up nicely. Kind of like on energy today, big day up, but you see, it did hold the halfway, but down here, Johnson, right? That a lot of times I will not buy a big bar like this. I will wait to the next day and try to pick it up at the halfway mark, and that would have been a good way to go on this particular trade so far, right? If you would have started buying it at halfway to increase your risk to reward. But good, I'm glad you didn't. Gary said, I sold all but 50 shares of Apple at 116.50. Excellent. Ultra. Well, it's an under 30, over 30. over the negative third ATR channel. I wish there was a double bottom associated with this and a bullish divergence. This is not. This is a lot of strength to the downside. Let's look at the weekly. Listen, whenever you have a bar that's larger than 1 ATR that comes into the value zone, almost not 100% of the time, obviously, I really think it's going to get down here and test this negative 1 ATR channel. Come on, that is my take. Gary says NDX. Why don't I have NDX? I don't have NDX. It's not pulling it up. Are we talking about? Oh, you guys are talking about the index. I had to put the star by it. Yeah, well, then you buy the Qs, right? But I'm not going to mess around with the NASDAQ right now. Not with the big four reporting after the bell. No way. Steve says, I'm locked KMX at 88.60 on the breakback above the 200-day moving average. Okay, good. I'm glad we're thinking the same way. I like it as well. I like it as well. David says, why did you not like BRKB? No, I like it. I like it, but I'm already buying DI. I already have DIA, David. And like I said, BRKB is kind of by itself just its own almost index of the market. If I didn't have DIA, would I buy it here? Yeah, I think I would. I mean, it's a decent risk to reward. It's certainly a good company, but yeah, don't misunderstand that I didn't like it. I like it, but I already have DIA, and I just feel like it's going to be too correlated. I don't like that it's rejected the 100-day moving average. I can tell you that. But you know, if somebody forced me to buy this today, I'd be okay with it. I'd be okay with it. We can talk about that more tonight, Dave. All right, so I'm just going to wait till the end here to buy CarMax. Steve bought it at 88.60. It's already at 88.71. Congratulations, Steve. And making new highs here, as you can see. But the reason I really like CarMax is because of this excellent risk to reward ratio. Went under 30, over 30 yesterday, but it rejected the 200. Now we have support of the 30 RSI underneath us and the 200 as well. Excuse me. My voice is a little froggy today. Yep, 7 p.m. Like old times, Dave. All right, so I am buying overnight SPY trade. I'm going to put Apple over here for Gary. And then my DIA day trade's doing nice. Bought it at 266.24. It's 267.90. And I'm morphing it into a swing trade based upon this daily chart. So let me put KMX up here. And get that all queued up. And again, a good rule of thumb is take 1% of your capital. So if you have $100,000, right? If you have $100,000, 1% of that is $1,000. So $1,000 divided by the value of the 2 ATR, which is 601, divided by 6.01, that would tell me to buy 166 shares. If you had $50,000, then you would be risking 500, which is 1%, divided by 6.01. 0.01, it would then tell you to buy 83 shares. And the nice thing about using that 2ATR is that it accounts for the recent volatility. The bigger the bars are, the fewer amount of shares you'll buy. The smaller the bars, the larger amount of shares that you'll buy. To me, that using the 2ATR to adjust for volatility and find out the proper position size is excellent, but you really have to figure out what your maximum loss is. And I've mentioned this many times, but in my experience with students, we'll talk about, okay, what's your maximum loss? They'll say it's $2,000 is my maximum loss. And then I'll say, it's probably 1,000. You think it's 2,000, you have 2, 3, 4 trades in a row, you hit your emergency stop, you're like really not going to be happy. And just my experience. So whatever your mind's thinking you're okay with the loss, cut it in half, and that's probably the right amount. Jadden says, have been observing this lately. In many stocks, they make a great setup and suddenly a shakeout, then patient being tested out, and boom, the stock moves in our favor. Yeah, there have been a lot of shakeouts. HR says, how many stocks do you buy normally for each trade? Yeah, I just talked about that, HR. Take your maximum allowed loss on any one trade. A good rule of thumb is 1%. So if you have a $100,000 account, 1% is 1,000. Divide it by the value of the 2ATR. That's how many shares I trade, right? So let me just do the math one more time for you. If I have $100,000, 1% of that is 1,000. I take 1,000, I divide it by the value of the 2ATR. I'd buy 166 shares. If I was buying Intel, I would take 1,000, divide it by 3.01, and it would tell me to buy 332 shares. So it works on any time frame. It works on any stock. You just have to get up on your charts 2ATR reading, and then that will tell you exactly. Steve says, I'm long DDM at 43.47 on the break back over the 200-day moving average. Okay, sounds good. So we'll put Steve over there. And DDM is the Dow. It's what I have in the DIA. It's just that this is the double leveraged break back over the 200. I show it a little under the 200 currently at the moment. Are we on the same page with that, Steve? Or are my charts different from you? All right, CarMax. So I've got 2 minutes, so I'm going to have to focus here. So I took my maximum allowed loss. I divided by 601. That tells me how many shares to buy on CarMax. And I'll have 1 minute to go here. Looks like things are fading here. So let me buy CarMax over here. And then one more over here. Okay, what do I have? 20 seconds. Oh, ho, ho. I almost bought the wrong amount of shares. All right, I'm going to buy it here. All right, and then I'll have my SPY trade here in a second. Okay, so let's see where I got filled on all this action. All right, so I bought SPY at 329.98, and I bought CarMax at 88.29. All right. So SPY, I bought at 329.98. CarMax, I bought at, right barely above the 200 day. 88.29. So there's a lot of selling there at the end. So that gives me about as good as a risk to reward ratio as I can get. If it closes under the 200, I am out, and then I'm going to move DIA up here. And of course, I got into DIA. Oh, look at that. We really sold off at the end of the day. We really sold off. Yeah, still profitable, but that was all right. Well, still profitable. I'm in at 266.24 on that one. And again, my stop on this one most likely will be a close below the 250-day moving average. My stop on CarMax will be a close under the 200. My stop on SPY will just be the opening price. That's about it. So if you have any new entries or exits for me, if you could just put them in the chat. I'll get them all updated real quick. Just want to remind everybody, I do teach private one-on-one lessons in the evening time via Skype. I love to teach. I think I've had really good results with my students. I think I teach a really good course. So many different approaches depending on what the market is doing. I have traded for almost 25 years now. I have worked one-on-one and studied one-on-one with Steve Burns, Dr. Alexander Elder, Kerry Lavorne, Larry Williams. I've learned a lot of great things from each one of these gentlemen. And in the course, I combine everything and teach everything that I have learned, plus all my experience. If you're interested in taking the course, it is $1,000. The course is 15 hours, 5 sessions, 3 hours each. And I think you're going to like it. I know you're going to be a better trader when you get done. No doubt about that. So if you are interested in taking this course with me one-on-one via Skype, send me an email. Let me know you're interested. When I get an email like that, I respond, say, hey, let's do an initial Skype call. Just get to know each other a little bit better. I want to learn about you and your trading and your challenges. Then it's a good time for you on that call for you to ask me about the course and the questions that you have about the course. And then when we're done, I'll say, hey, nice chatting with you. Think about it. And if you decide in the future that you want to take it, just email me and we'll get it set up. And then also, if you could hit the thumbs up button today, I would really appreciate that. Helps keep the channel around, helps grow the channel, helps YouTube know that there's some good content here, and they'll help to promote it and so forth. So listen, I've got to do something real quick. Give me 20 seconds and I'll be back, and then I'll get everything updated, okay? Okay. Oh, Steve, okay. Steve says, I did exit DDM at 43.18 for a 0.67% loss after it reversed back under. Okay, so that, my friends, is discipline. Did you see what happened with Steve? Steve bought at 43.17 with the break above the 200, but then we had the big sell-off at the end, and he stuck with his rules, sold it at 43.18 for a 0.67% loss. It reversed back under. So, it's a bummer to have taken the loss there in the last 20 minutes, but, Steve should be happy that he had the discipline to follow his rules. How many of you would have done that? How many would have you, if you bought it here, if it closed under before the end of the day, just 10 or 15 minutes after, would you have gotten out? Professional traders would do that, and Steve is a professional trader. So congratulations, Steve. And and that gives you the pluses and minuses, everybody, of waiting till the end of the day. If you buy 15 minutes before the day and then it rallies the last 15 minutes, then you've got a good head start. If you wait until the end of the day, then maybe you don't get much of a head start, but you get better confirmation. So there's no real right answer. It's just going to work for you or against you sometimes, like anything else. But nice getting out of that, Steve. Steve says 150-point drop in the last 5 minutes. Okay. Where's my Google? Oh, I already took Google off for Gary. Apple. Okay. And Frank's still in at 111. And you added KMX. Gary M. 10-4. Roger that, Gary. Oh, and Steve has KMX, yeah. Okay. Dan has KMX. All right. Good luck on that, Dan. I'm going to put a little smiley face by it right there. Got your own little smiley face up on the board. Jackson says, typical shakeout on NASDAQ. Kamal says, Amazon reported. Gary says, Steve, did you sell DDM when it broke the 200? I need discipline like that. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. And Steve has the discipline. He bought it a little bit before the market closed over the 200, and then it just dropped hard in that last little bit. And that's it. That's what happened, and he had the discipline to get out. Kamal says Amazon is flat. Facebook is moving up. Dan says, wow, Steve. Kamal says Google above 1700. Dan says, Greg, your day trades were like a jazz musician. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yep, been pretty good. Been pretty good. I had that string, 18 days in a row winners, and then I had that loser, but I've been back on a streak ever since. What is this, day 3 now? What is today? Yeah, it's day 3. But thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. I really do enjoy day trading. I enjoy, kind of like you say, like a symphony. You're talking jazz musician, but I look at it as a symphony of looking at different time frames, support and resistance on multiple time frames, quickly getting out when you're wrong. Jackson says Google's killing it. Jackson says at resistance 1720. Yas, hey buddy, good to see you. Yas is in CarMax. Yes, I still have you in the queues, I think. No, that's Frank. Is it Walmart? No. I don't know who's in Walmart now. I don't have anybody in there. Gary has the TQs. I swear I had Yas in something. Well, maybe you could let me know, Yas. All right, what's happening after hours? SPY's up. That's a good start. Oh, and by the way, I totally forgot about my VIX. I got busy there and I didn't sell it, which I'm glad to see because it did not close below yesterday's low. So I still have the quarter position, quarter of my calls that I bought on VIX. CarMax is flat. Apple's up 53 cents, but they haven't reported yet, right? Google's up 111 points. Wow. So the Qs are up 82 cents. What else were we playing around with? Amazon. Oh, Amazon's down $40, $50. Twitter's down. Yeah, says I was in DKNG. Oh, that's right. Okay, so I took D&G. Okay, I'm glad you were out before it went down. Yes, thank you. Kamal says Qs are flat, slightly down. Hey, you know one thing I'd like to ask everybody? Like, I don't know where everyone's from. I know where a few people are from. You know, I know where Kamal's from. I know where Gary's from. I know where Steve's from. But, you know, if you get a chance, put it in the chat. I'd like to know where everybody's from, just so I can kind of calibrate and see which states or which countries people are from. And Apple takes a while to report, I believe, right? Apple's up 20 cents. Amazon's down 31, excuse me. Intel's down 10 cents. CarMax is down 27 cents. SPY's down 60 cents now. VIX is moving up. Bob is from Central Pennsylvania. Ahmad is from Central Virginia. Great. Yasa says, oh, you're in Livermore, California. Ahmad is in KMX also. Okay, good. We'll get that all lined up there. Ahmad, I got you on there. Welcome to the KMX trade. Chris says, Eagan, Minnesota. Oh, good. Nice. Dan says, Madera Beach, Florida, 5 blocks from the sunny beach. That's right. I knew Dan was from Florida. Yeah, says, drivable distance from Utah. Yes, it is. I have made that drive many, many times. I'm originally from California. Apple's down 39 cents now. Should be very interesting to see what these tech earnings are and how the market responds to them. Oh, it has a picture of Jeff Bezos with a smile on his face, but so report sales growth of 37%, but the stock's down. Alphabet up 14%, crushing expectations. All right, so the Dow is down 0.69%. 0.69%, 69 cents. I see Apple Dow down $1.32. And VIX up 29 cents. Interesting, interesting. Zach is from Ohio. Yes, says what part of California? Santa Monica. Ava is from St. Paul, Minnesota. So we've got a few Minnesotans. Tracy says Murray, Utah. I bought into Apple, Diamond, Amazon, CRMT, and Disney today. Okay, wow, good seeing you, Trace. I know you're from Utah because I know your boyfriend. Tracy says I just want to be at the beach though. Gotcha. Jatin says Alphabet EPS 16 versus 11 expectations. Dan says we have beautiful sunset here. I'll bet. Ahmad says, given the sell-off due to major tech companies, do you consider taking certain positions off or do you stay the course overnight, currently just in KMX trade? You know, Ahmad, I didn't buy any of the tech companies today. I don't have anything in the NASDAQ realm currently. That's on purpose, although there was really no setups on that also, right? So had I gotten a signal today on Google or Apple, I would not have taken it because of the earnings. That's why I bought CarMax. It's not NASDAQ related. You have a good risk to reward ratio. Of course, the SPY I buy every day. I've had the VIX trade for a while here, which has been nice. And then the diamonds, I had the position. Listen, had I had a signal today in the Qs, a valid signal, yeah, I would have taken it. But I'm not gonna take big tech companies if they're having earnings on that particular day. It's just the rule that I have. Sometimes I'm glad I didn't. Sometimes I wish I had, of course. All right, but just a rule. If somebody's having earnings, I don't care if it's NASDAQ or any other company related, I'm just not going to buy and hold through earnings. I just consider it too much of a gamble, Ahmad. So Amazon is pretty flat, down $37. But like I mentioned before, everybody, sometimes you'll get stocks that have bad earnings and they'll go up. And people go, why would it go up if it was bad earnings? Well, because the bad news was already baked in the cake. And that's generally a good sign. A bad sign is when you have good earnings and the stock goes down. That also means the price was baked into the cake, and that's indicative of a larger market top, in my opinion. In the Market Wizards book, I can't remember who it is, and they said, are you a technical trader? And they say, no, I'm not really a technical trader, other than the fact if something's going up on bad news, that's a technical indicator for me to buy. If something has great news and it goes down, that is a negative technical indicator. So, Amazon had good earnings and now they're down at the moment, right? Microsoft had good earnings and they're down. So, just be aware of that. Read the tea leaves a little bit. Ahmad says, great. Thank you, sir. You're welcome. Hope that helped. Gary says, thanks, Greg and group. Have a great day. Enjoy your hike. I will. Thank you, Gary. Good seeing you, bud. Jaden says, thanks for the session, sir. Great learnings every day. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. I hope so. I do my best. That's why I have the channel. So, as a general rule with my students and people I see in the chat and, all the traders I know, including myself, the one thing we can work on is being more patient, waiting for a really great setup, and just as important, making sure we have a good risk to reward. I say it every day, but I really want to kind of drive that point. Be very particular. If you as a trader became even more particular, twice as particular as you are right now, I think you're going to do better. When I had that streak of 18 winning days, one of the reasons I think I had such a long streak was because I was like, I don't want this streak to end. And so I got really, really particular on my trades. And I was thinking about that this morning when I was drinking coffee, and I was like, I think the reason I had such a good streak was because I was being so particular, because I had such a good streak going. I didn't want it to end. So I really became even more disciplined and even more specific with the day trades that I was going to take. And I thought to myself, why don't you do that every single day? I mean, I try, right? I definitely try, but I've been pretty good at it lately, letting things pass, not taking trades. But I think it's a goal for all of us. Try to 2x, try to double up on your discipline and your selectivity of your trades, and I think you're going to see it pay off for you. Let's see, David had that trade, NIO, so we need to put that bad boy up there. And he bought it when it broke above previous high at 29.30. So that high. Oh, that high. Excellent breakout trade there, David. My gosh. Up 8.1%. Congratulations, my friend. All right. Sorry, I didn't get that one up there. All right, so David. There you go, sir. Okay, let's turn back on the big earnings day here. What's happening with Apple? Apple's up 28 cents now. My DIA trade is down 79 cents after hours. Rude. KMX up 79 cents. Hey, hey. SPY's down $1. VIX up 43 cents. And the Goog is up a ton, right? 90 points, up 5.71%. So we have 6 minutes until Apple. You guys want to hang out that long? 5 minutes? Oh, Facebook reported also. Up 7 cents. Wow. So it was up 13 points today during the regular day. So I think that got baked in the price there. Now it's up $1. Okay. Kamal says, I am here and watching. I figured you would be. Quad says, I am in DIA. Okay. That's Quad right there. And KMX. Okay. Zach says, thank you for the great stream today. Always enjoy it. Thank you very much, Dan. I appreciate that, and I always enjoy seeing you. Dan says, thank you, Greg. Not long ago, I saw a group of birds doing some amazing patterns, but there was one bird at the back messing up a bit, still trying. It reminds me of someone, me, but gave me hope. Hey, man, listen, you're going to get better and better and better, Dan. And, if there's anything I can do to help you, bud, words of encouragement, or, you know what I mean? If you have some questions for me, let me know. But I want you to get into that pack with the birds as well. And that's interesting because I saw a group of birds the other day and I saw the same thing. What a weird confluence, huh? Synchronicity, because I saw this bird way out and he was squawking, but he wasn't in the pack. And I thought to myself, wow, maybe the bird doesn't want to be. Maybe he's a loner bird also, right? But thanks for that, Dan. If there's anything I can help you with, you let me know, okay? Ava says, Starbucks rebeat, but coming down. Maybe because China store sales down, percentage down. So Starbucks, let's take a look at that chart. And bullish engulfing bar V1 looks a little chasey. Let's look over at Starbucks. This is going to be bad, I imagine. 1.62%. And Everest Group, I don't see anything there. RE. Apple's up 60 cents. Amazon's now only down $15. $11. Ava says, PLT good, earnings beat up. All right, let's take a look at PLT. Holy smokes, up 22.91%. Ava, do you have it? Do you have PLT? Please say yes. Please say yes. Oh, Ericsson. Nope, that's wrong also. ER. Why can't I not find ER on here? Oh, earnings. Gotcha. All right, now I got the code down, Ava. ER means earnings, AH means after hours. You don't have it. Darn it. I would love if you would have said yes. Shoot. All right, so Apple is down $3.70, $4 now to 111.11. I see a picture of Tim Cook not looking happy or sad. 73 cents versus 70 cents. Revenue is 64.7 billion compared to 63.7 billion. Okay. So down almost 4%. pretty much giving back today's game. Now Apple's down $5. And VIX is up 55 cents. Okay. Well, I guess that's all the fun for us today. Listen, before I go, just a quick reminder, please go out and do something nice for somebody today. Just a smile, a wave, hello, do something nice. If you could also do something nice and kind for an animal, that would be doubly as good. Just take them on a walk, give them a little scratch on the head or a scratch under the chin, throw the ball for them, give them a little treaty, right? If we could just do one nice thing for a human, one nice thing for an animal, the world would be a better place. So thank you all for coming today. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Be good, be safe, study up on some charts, read some trading books. Steve has Moving Averages 101, second edition out on Amazon. You should check that out. That's made a huge difference in my trading. It's a very inexpensive book, but it's worth many, many times what you'll pay for it. I promise you that. So Kamal says, so Google is good this earnings. Everything else is eh. Quad says, thanks as always. Have a great evening. Okay, sounds good. David, if you're still on, I'll talk to you tonight at 7. So I'm going to go out, enjoy the day, go on a nice hike, and we'll talk to everybody later, okay? Thanks again for coming. We'll see you. Bye.
U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for for the impact of various market factors, such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.